You've seen the claims. This penny is worth $1 million. This quarter can make you rich overnight. But is it true? The truth is, most of it is completely fake. Exaggerated prices, misleading hype. That's what we're here to expose. Welcome to Rare Coin Collecting.
Most people think of a quarter as just 25 cents. But the 2008 Oklahoma P State quarter can be worth far more than its face value, if you know what to look for. In this deep dive, we're going to explore the history, design, rarity factors, error varieties, auction results, and collecting strategies that can turn this common-looking coin into a serious collector's prize. The Oklahoma State Quarter was the 46th release in the wildly popular 50 State Quarters program, issued in 2008. It celebrates the state's admission to the Union in 1907. The design is striking. The scissor-tailed flycatcher, Oklahoma's state bird, in graceful flight over a cluster of Indian blanket wildflowers, the state's official flower. The combination isn't just pretty, it's loaded with symbolism. The flycatcher represents grace and resilience, while the wildflowers evoke the rich color of Oklahoma's landscapes. Now, the P Mint mark means this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In total, over 222 million of these were produced, so at first glance it seems far from rare. But here's where things get interesting. Not every coin survives in top condition, and certain varieties or errors can make specific examples far more valuable than the average pocket change find. Let's talk about condition first. Coins in circulation pick up scratches, nicks, and dull surfaces quickly. But if you find an Oklahoma P quarter in mint state 67 or higher, you're in rare air. Heritage Auctions has sold MS-68 examples for over $400. And even MS-67s can fetch $100 or more. The reason is simple. Out of millions of coins, only a handful are struck perfectly and survive without flaws. But it's not just grade that matters. There are some fascinating mint errors for the Oklahoma P that collectors chase. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't aligned correctly during minting, can sell for $50 to $200, depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. There are also die breaks, raised lines or blobs, caused by cracks in the die, which can be subtle or extreme. Some show as cuds, where part of the rim is filled in with extra metal, and these can be surprisingly valuable. Then there's the holy grail for some, double dies. While no major DDO, double die obverse, has been confirmed for this coin, minor doubled lettering on Oklahoma, or United States of America, has been reported by sharp-eyed collectors. These subtle varieties often get overlooked, meaning you could be the one to spot an unrecognized treasure. Let's shift to auction highlights. Back in 2018, a PCGS-graded MS-68 Oklahoma P quarter sold for $495 at Great Collections. In 2021, another example in the same grade brought in $410 on eBay. Even less than perfect coins can do well if they have eye appeal, strong luster, sharp strike, and no distracting marks. So how do you find one worth keeping? First, start checking rolls of quarters from the bank. Yes, this design is from 2008, but it still turns up in circulation. Roll hunting is cheap. $10 gets you 40 chances to score. Second, look at bulk coin lots at flea markets or online. Sellers often don't bother checking dates closely, and you might spot a high-grade Oklahoma P hiding among common coins. If you're going for top grades, a coin microscope or strong loupe is your best friend. Look for perfect details in the bird's feathers and the flower petals. The fields and the flat areas of the coin should be clean and reflective with no major scratches. Coins like this are candidates for grading by PCGS or NGC, which can multiply their value. Here's a pro tip. Even if you find one that's just MS-65 or MS-66, put it aside. The supply of uncirculated Oklahoma P quarters will only shrink over time, and demand for high-grade state quarters from set builders remains strong. Some collectors aim to build full 50 coin sets in MS-67 or better, and they'll pay a premium for your coin if it helps complete their run. Another angle is educational appeal. This coin tells a story about Oklahoma's natural heritage, making it a perfect gift for new collectors, young numismatists, or anyone with Oklahoma ties. That sentimental connection can make the coin more marketable, especially if you pair it with a nice presentation, card, or historical write-up. Let's not ignore the fun factor of errors again. Imagine finding a coin where the scissor-tailed flycatcher's wings are slightly blurred from dye deterioration, or the date is lightly doubled. These aren't just minting quirks. They're conversation starters that can fetch premium prices in the right collector circles. Finally, think long-term. While silver content doesn't apply here, this is a copper nickel-clad coin weighing 5.67 grams. Its numismatic value could rise as pristine examples become scarcer. The 50 State Quarters program is a closed series now, and history shows that completed coin programs often gain value over time. So to sum it up, the Oklahoma P quarter may be common in low grades, but in mint state perfection, with the right error or in the right hands, it can be worth far more than 25 cents. It's a reminder that treasure can still be hiding in plain sight. You just have to know what to look for. So next time you get change, take a second look. Your scissor-tailed flycatcher might just take flight straight into a collector's showcase. Most people see a quarter as just pocket change, a quick way to feed a parking meter, or buy a gumball. But the 2008 Oklahoma D State quarter is proof that even modern coins from the Denver Mint can hold hidden value far beyond their 25-cent face. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, the mistakes to avoid, and the hidden details that can make this coin worth hundreds, or in rare cases, thousands of dollars. Let's start with the basics. The Oklahoma State Quarter was released in 2008 as the 46th coin in the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, celebrating Oklahoma's entry into the Union in 1907. Its design is one of the most beautiful of the entire series. The scissor-tailed flycatcher gliding above a field of Indian blanket wildflowers. The bird is known for its long, elegant tail and is a symbol of grace and freedom. The wildflowers, rich in red and yellow hues in real life, represent the warmth and natural beauty of Oklahoma's landscapes. Now, the D mint mark, found just to the right of Washington, is ponytail on the obverse, tells us this coin was minted in Denver, Colorado. The Denver Mint struck about 194 million Oklahoma quarters in 2008. That sounds like a massive number, and it is, which is why finding a valuable one requires knowing the difference between an ordinary coin and an exceptional one. So what makes some Oklahoma D quarters worth far more than others? First, condition. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. An Oklahoma D, in worn condition, might only be worth face value, but a perfect mint state 67 or higher can bring serious money. PCGS graded MS68 examples have sold for $450 to $500 in recent years, and even MS67s often go for $100 to $200. Why? Because even fresh from the bank coins often have small dings or dull luster, and only a handful escape the mint in flawless shape. Second, errors and varieties can turn a 25-cent coin into a jackpot. Some Oklahoma D quarters are known for off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably shifted, a dramatic off-center of 50%, or more with a full date. Visible can sell for $300 or more. There are also clipped planche errors, where a small curved section of the coin is missing due to a misfeed in the minting process. These typically range from $50 to $150 depending on size and eye appeal. Then there's the ever-popular doubled die varieties. While no major DDO doubled die obverse, or DDR doubled die reverse, has been officially listed for this coin, some minor hub doubling has been reported, particularly in the letters of Oklahoma and E pluribus unum. Catching one of these under a loop could put you ahead of the market. Auction stories are where this coin gets exciting. In 2017, Great Collections sold a PCGS MS68 Oklahoma D for $495. Another example in the same grade sold on Heritage auctions in 2020 for just under $475. Even slightly lower grade coins in MS67 regularly find buyers at $150 to $200. Not bad for something you might still find in pocket change. Now, if you're wondering how to find one, roll hunting is the budget-friendly method. Ask your bank for rolls of quarters and check each coin under good lighting. Pay attention to the luster. High-grade coins tend to have that original mint shine. Examine the fields for clean surfaces and the details. In the bird's feathers for sharpness. Another tip is to browse estate sales, flea markets, and even online bulk coin listings. Many sellers move coins without checking them for errors or high grades, so your treasure could be hiding in plain sight. For those aiming at top-dollar sales, professional grading is key. PCGS and NGC certification not only gives buyers confidence, but also locks in the grade that can dramatically influence value. A raw coin might sell for 50, but the same coin graded MS68 could easily bring in hundreds. Let's talk a little strategy. If you find an MS65 or MS66 Oklahoma D, you might think, it's not perfect, so I'll spend it. Don't. These coins could still gain value over time as high grade. Examples get pulled from circulation and stashed away in collections. A few decades from now, even an MS65 might be considered a tough find. For the history buffs, there's an extra layer of collectability. The Oklahoma quarter was one of the final releases in the State Quarters series, meaning it had a relatively short time in active minting before the program ended. Collectors who build complete sets often pay premiums for the later state coins, especially in pristine condition. And let's not forget, some buyers aren't just after the coin's condition or rarity. They might be Oklahoma natives looking for a keepsake, or bird enthusiasts drawn to the flycatcher design. This emotional connection can give your coin an edge in the marketplace, especially if you present it in a nice holder, or alongside a bit of historical background. Here's something many overlook: toning. If stored in certain conditions, Oklahoma D quarters can develop attractive rainbow or gold-toned surfaces. While ugly tarnish can hurt value, beautiful natural toning can make a coin more desirable and even double its price. Finally, the long game. The Oklahoma D quarter is a copper nickel-clad coin, weighing 5.67 grams, so it doesn't have precious metal value. Yet its numismatic appeal is undeniable. As time goes on, the supply of high-grade and error coins will shrink, and demand from set builders and error specialists will likely grow. So, next time you're about to drop a quarter into a vending machine, take a closer look. If that D mint mark is there and the coin gleams like it just left the press, or has a quirky minting flaw, you might be holding a hidden gem. And remember, in coin collecting, the biggest treasures aren't always gold or silver. Sometimes they're hiding right in your pocket change. When most people think of valuable U.S. coins, their minds jump to old silver dollars or rare early pennies. But what if I told you that a 25-cent piece from 2008 could be worth hundreds? Sometimes more, if it's the right kind of coin. I'm talking about the 2008 New Mexico S Silver Proof Quarter, a piece that blends the beauty of modern design with the timeless appeal of pure silver. Let's start with the basics. This coin was the 47th release in the wildly popular State Quarters program, a program that brought millions of new collectors into the hobby. The design celebrates the land of enchantment, with an outline of the state of New Mexico, the bold Zia sun symbol at its center, and the words "Land of Enchantment" below. That Zia sun with its 4 groups of 4 rays isn't just decoration. It's sacred to the Zia Pueblo people, representing the 4 directions, the 4 seasons, the 4 times of day, and the 4 stages of life. It's a design packed with meaning, and when it's struck in gleaming silver, it's nothing short of stunning. Now, the obverse features George Washington's familiar profile by John Flanagan, but look closely near Washington's ponytail and you'll see the key detail, the letter S. That mint mark tells you this coin was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and in this case, in 90% silver proof form, the New Mexico S Silver Proof. Quarter contains 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it a total weight of 6.25 grams. That means each one holds about 0.8 troy ounces of silver. Even at today's silver prices, the melt value alone is worth several dollars. But melt value is just the starting point. For collectors, the numismatic value can go far higher. Proof coins like this aren't made for circulation. They're struck multiple times with specially prepared dies, producing razor-sharp details and a deep mirror finish. The frosted devices, the raised parts of the design, contrast beautifully against the polished fields, creating that bold cameo effect collectors love. Because they were only sold in special silver-proof sets by the U.S. Mint, they were never meant to be spent. But here's the catch. Not every silver-proof quarter has survived in perfect condition. Mishandling, poor storage, and environmental factors like humidity can lead to hairlines, spots, or haze that lower the grade. This is where grading comes in. On the Sheldon scale, PF69 Deep Cameo coins are impressive, but PF70 Deep Cameo, absolutely flawless under magnification, is the gold standard. In the case of the 2008 New Mexico silver quarter, PF70 DCAM examples have fetched eye-opening prices. One record sale hit $515 in a heritage auction when two determined bidders pushed it higher and higher. Even in more typical sales, $80 to $200 isn't uncommon for perfect examples, especially when silver prices are strong and demand for state quarters spikes. But the real jackpot potential comes with errors. Yes, even silver proofs can have them, and they can be dramatic. Imagine a double die obverse where the lettering shows clear doubling, or a strike-through where lint or debris left an impression in the coin's surface. Some error silver proofs have sold for $600 to $800 simply because they combine rarity, beauty, and precious metal content. And then there's the visual wildcard, toning. While most proof collectors prefer a pristine black and white cameo look, some buyers will pay a premium for naturally toned silver coins. If your 2008 New Mexico silver quarter has attractive golden edges, light blue highlights, or even rainbow arcs from years of storage in original mint packaging, it could stand out in the marketplace and fetch a much higher price. Let's talk about finding these coins. The majority are still locked away in original 2008 U.S. Mint silver proof sets. So your best bet is to search for those at estate sales, coin shops, online auctions, and even yard sales. People often break apart proof sets to sell the individual coins, and silver quarters sometimes slip through undervalued, especially if the seller doesn't follow the collector market closely. If you do find one, here's a tip. Handle it only by the edges and avoid touching the mirror-like fields at all costs. A single fingerprint can permanently damage the surface and drop the grade, and therefore the value, by a huge margin. If you believe you have a perfect coin, consider sending it to PCGS or NGC for grading. That little plastic slab with a PF70 DCAM label could be the difference between selling for $15 and selling for hundreds. Another factor driving the value is mintage. The U.S. Mint struck only about 1.2 million silver-proof quarters for New Mexico in 2008. That might sound like a lot, but in numismatic terms, it's a relatively small number, especially compared to the hundreds of millions of clad quarters struck for circulation. And remember, not all of those 1.2 million are still in top condition today. In terms of weight and specifications, this coin measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, weighs 6.5 grams, and has a reeded edge. The silver content means it feels slightly heavier in hand than a regular clad quarter, and it even has that distinct silver ring if you gently tap it. Let's look at some real sales. A PCGS PF70 DCAM sold on eBay for $185 in 2022. A toned example with brilliant blues and golds brought $265 on great collections in 2021. A dramatic double die obverse example, authenticated by NGC, hammered for $495. These numbers prove one thing. While silver proofs are beautiful, right out of the mint's packaging, condition, rarity, and uniqueness can multiply their value dramatically. And here's a little psychological insight. State quarter collectors love completeness. Many set builders want every single state in both clad and silver, and they'll pay extra for the last few coins they need, especially in PF70. If your coin happens to be one of those missing pieces, you might find a buyer willing to outbid everyone else just to finish their set. The bottom line? The 2008 New Mexico silver-proof quarter isn't just a shiny piece of silver. It's a symbol of the Southwest's rich history, a work of modern minting art, and in the right condition, a surprisingly valuable treasure. Whether you find one in a proof set or already graded, it's a coin that could turn a casual collector into a serious one and put some serious cash in your pocket. So next time you come across a silver-proof quarter, Don't just think about its melt value. Think about its story, its condition, its errors, and its place in the collector market, because that little S on the obverse might be the start of a very big payoff. Most people think that a 25-cent coin, minted in the 2000s, can't be worth much more than its face value. But the 2008 New Mexico S-clad state quarter proves that even modern proof coins can surprise you with impressive auction results. If you know what to look for, you could be sitting on a hidden treasure, one that's been quietly sitting in proof sets or collections for years. Let's start with the design. Released as the 47th coin in the U.S. Mint's State Quarters program, the New Mexico quarter celebrates the land of enchantment's unique cultural and geographical identity. On the reverse, you'll find a detailed outline of the state of New Mexico with the Zia sun symbol at its heart, a sacred emblem of the Zia Pueblo people, representing the four directions, the four seasons, the four times of day, and the four stages of life. Below, the inscription reads Land of Enchantment, a nod to New Mexico's stunning deserts, mountains, and deep cultural history. The obverse, like all state quarters, features the familiar profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. But here's where it gets special. That tiny S-mint mark on the obverse, right by Washington's ponytail, tells you this coin was struck at the San Francisco Mint and in clad proof form. Now, clad proof means this coin is made of a copper core sandwiched between layers of copper nickel, not silver. But what makes it special is the mirror-like finish and frosted details created by multiple strikes from specially prepared dies. These coins were never released for general circulation. Instead, they were sold directly to collectors in U.S. Mint proof sets, because they were made for collectors. You might think every New Mexico S-clad quarter is in perfect condition. Not so. Handling, storage, and even the minting process itself can introduce flaws, from tiny scratches to hazy toning. That's why the very highest graded examples can still bring strong prices at auction. In the world of coin grading, we're looking at the Proof 69 Deep Cameo and especially the elusive Proof 70 Deep Cameo as the top of the heap, while PF 69 DCAM examples are common and might sell for 5 out to 10. A perfect PF 70 DCAM can sell for much more, and especially when demand spikes. For example, Edwardine Ottender, New Mexico clad quarter graded PF 70 DCAM by PCGS once fetched $2.5 on eBay when two determined bidders refused to back down. Then we have the world of errors. Yes, even proof coins can have them. Although rare, you can find strike-throughs where lint or debris was on the die during striking, double dies on the lettering, or even improperly polished fields that create odd reflective distortions. A documented double die on a proof coin can easily exceed $150, sometimes more if it's dramatic and certified. What really sets this coin apart for some collectors is the symbolism. The Zia sun symbol isn't just decoration, it's deeply spiritual, and it's tied to New Mexico's cultural heritage. That makes it a sought-after piece not just for state quarter collectors, but for people who collect coins with Native American or Southwestern themes. The story behind the symbol can add emotional value, and when you connect with a buyer on that level, they're often willing to pay more. Let's talk about finding these coins. Since they were sold in proof sets, your best bet is to search for 2008 U.S. Mint-clad proof sets at estate sales, coin shops, flea markets, and even online auction lots. Many people break apart sets to sell the individual coins, and some don't realize the premium that high-grade examples can bring. If you come across a set, inspect the quarter under a strong light. Look for razor-sharp frosted devices, the raised parts of the design, and deep, mirror-like fields. Any haze spotting or tiny scratches will drop the grade and the price significantly. If you believe your coin has a shot at PF 70, consider professional grading through PCGS or NGC. Having that label can be the difference between selling for 10 and selling for hundreds. Speaking of sales, let's look at a few real numbers. While many PF 70 DCAM examples sell for around $50 to $100, there have been spikes. In 2019, a bidding war on heritage auctions drove one up to $310, another on great collections in 2021, sold for $285, proof that collector demand can be unpredictable and timing can be everything. One often overlooked factor is cameo contrast. Not all proof coins have equally strong frosted devices against their mirror fields. The more dramatic the contrast, the more visually appealing the coin, and the higher the potential value. Deep cameo, or DCAM, is the grading term for coins with that bold black and white appearance, and it's what you should be aiming for if you're chasing top dollar. Now let's touch on toning. While most proof coins are stored to preserve their pristine look, some can develop natural toning over the years. Golden rims, blue highlights, or rainbow arcs. When attractive and natural, this can make your coin unique and desirable to certain buyers, potentially increasing its value by 20% or more. In terms of mintage, the San Francisco Mint produced just over 2 million clad proof quarters for New Mexico in 2008. That might sound like a lot, but in the proof coin world, it's still a limited run, especially when you factor in the number of coins that have been mishandled or improperly stored. The weight of the New Mexico S-clad quarter is the standard, 0.67 grams, with a diameter of 24.26 millimeters and a reeded edge. While it doesn't carry intrinsic silver value, its numismatic value can easily overshadow that. When most people look at the Oklahoma State quarter, they see a simple, beautiful design, the scissor-tailed flycatcher soaring over a field of Indian blanket wildflowers. But when collectors see the 2008 S silver proof, they know they're holding a coin that can be worth far more than its face value. Today we're going deep into why this coin is special, how much it can sell for, and how you can find one worth serious money. First, let's break down what S silver proof means. The S stands for the San Francisco Mint, where proof coins are made for collectors. Proof means the coin was struck using polished dies and specially prepared planchets, giving it those mirror-like fields and frosted designs that pop. And silver here means the coin is made of 90% silver and 10% copper, not the copper nickel clad you find in circulation. This coin weighs 6.25 grams, so it has intrinsic metal value as well as collector value. Now, silver content alone makes it worth more than a regular quarter, but that's just the beginning. The real money is in condition. A perfectly preserved PR70 DCAM, that's proof, 70 deep cameo, the highest grade possible, can command eye-opening prices. In 2019, one example sold for $460 through Heritage Auctions. Another fetched $395 in 2021 on eBay. And even PR69 DCAM examples often go for $40-60. And here's where it gets interesting. Some of these silver proofs have tiny, hard-to-spot mint varieties. Things like ultra-deep cameo contrast, tie Polish lines in the fields, or a slightly stronger strike that makes the bird and flowers appear sharper. These subtle differences can send collectors into bidding wars, especially if the coin is slabbed by PCGS or NGC with that perfect PR70 label. The history behind this design is another reason collectors love it. Oklahoma became the 46th state in 1907, and its quarter was issued in 2008 as part of the 50 State Quarters program. The scissor-tailed flycatcher is the official state bird, and those vibrant Indian blanket wildflowers are the state's official flower. Together, they tell a story of the state's natural beauty, rich Native American heritage, and pride in its unique landscape. When you're selling a coin like this, telling that story matters. It makes the coin more than just silver. It becomes a piece of Oklahoma's identity, frozen in time and struck in precious metal. So where do you find one? The Oklahoma S silver proof was originally sold only in 2008 silver proof sets from the U.S. Mint. These sets often surface at coin shops, estate sales, flea markets, and online auctions. Sometimes you can buy a full silver proof set for $40-50, and if your Oklahoma quarter grades perfectly, sell it alone for 5 or 6 times that amount. If you're hunting, focus on coins still in their original mint packaging. Look for flawless mirrored fields, no hairlines or spots, and strong cameo contrast. Handle only by the edges, preferably with cotton gloves. If you suspect it might be a PR70 candidate, sending it to PCGS or NGC for grading can be worth the $20 or $30 fee. The jump in value can be huge. Selling these coins takes a bit of strategy. High-grade silver proofs do best on platforms where serious collectors are watching. Think heritage auctions, great collections, or eBay listings with professional quality photos. Make sure to highlight both the silver content and the grade. And if your coin has exceptional cameo contrast, say so in the title. Now, here's a tip most people don't talk about. Keep an eye out for mislisted coins. Sometimes sellers don't realize the difference between the clad and silver proofs. If the listing doesn't specify silver, but the photos show that bright, pure silver edge with no copper stripe, you might be looking at a silver proof priced like a clad. That's an instant profit opportunity. Let's not forget the long-term potential. Silver spot prices rise and fall, but the collector market for PR70, deep cameo state quarters and especially silver proofs, has been solid for years. And with the state quarters program now a completed series, demand from set builders will only get stronger. The Oklahoma S silver proof isn't just a pretty coin. It's a blend of artistry, state pride, precious metal, and rarity at the top grades. Whether you're collecting for personal enjoyment or hunting for resale profit, it's one of those modern coins worth taking seriously. Because in coin collecting, the real treasure is knowledge. And once you know what to look for, the mint mark, the silver shine, the perfect strike, you're not just spending quarters, you're finding hidden gems. And here's my challenge to you. Check your proof sets. Check your dealer's bargain box. And keep your eyes open at estate sales. Somewhere out there, your perfect PR70 Oklahoma S silver proof might be waiting. And it could be the coin that turns a few minutes of searching into hundreds of dollars in your pocket.